Hello and welcome to this edition of Denthead Gaming. As always, I am your host Dent, and in this episode I of course give you the BFQ of the week and a dub that I got with my guys Tankity-Tank and Dead Raven 12. Enjoy the carnage. Alright guys, let's go ahead and hit up the BFQ of the week before we get into the main video. So your BFQ of the week, your butt flicking quitter of the week is going to be Scorpionock B. Yes, this guy right there. That guy right there. Yes. So he plays on PS4. He's got one knock so far this match. He pushes in on the squad of 3 on his own, and then, yeah. And then after that, he just, yeah. Quickest rage quit I think I've seen in a long time. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the regularly scheduled carnage. Hello, my little dent head minion. We are going to go from the drop on this one here. So, yeah, I normally don't leave the drop in, but this match got a little spicy really fast. So, we got Trigger 210 and Dead Raven 12 as teammates, both of which are on my friends list. Sadly, we weren't all calmed up because Dead Raven 12's dog ate his microphone. Sorry about that, my guy. That sucks. Anyway, so we go ahead and do some looting here. Yeah, I pick up a Spitty right away, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then, so Dead Raven's hanging out on the roof up there. I don't know if you guys saw that. He's just kind of camping there. We don't know why, and then he pings, and we're like, oh, there's a guy on him. So, of course, you know, Raven and I move in, because, you know, we're good little teammates. We try to get to him pretty quick, but the guy just decides to be, you know, behave like he's from the desert. So he, yeah, he just goes in and thirsts right away. So there's Arcstar, meaning to actually have a gun in my hand, which is kind of funny. Trigger lights him up, and then I down him. Trigger finishes. Thank you for that, Trigger. And then we just sort of wait for his teammates to come, and then they don't. So we're like, all right, cool. We'll just go for the recovery.
Picked up our teammate's banner. The champion made a poor choice.
And then I can hear footsteps to my right while I was down there on that box. I was going to loot, but I'm like, I don't know if I have enough time. I'm like, ooh, a hemlock. I like hemlocks, so I pick it up. And I just sort of follow Trigger. I'm like, oh, they're up here. I can hear them. Don't see them. I think they're underneath, so I go silent mode. Just kind of creeping around. I'm like, I want to take them by surprise. Then I hear a thermite grenade. I'm like, oh, they're outside. So I'm like, well, I don't know if I should be creeping anymore. So I just started all out sprinting. Got a guy to my right there. Go ahead and light her up. Thank God I had a Spitfire. Otherwise, any other gun I'd been out of ammo right there. I go for my own kill. And I'm like, okay, they must have rezzed that crypto. So then Trigger pings, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're not getting away from me. But then they proceed to get away from me. And I'm like, where'd they go? I'm like, there's a guy in front of me, he's running away. And then I'm like, there's a guy to my left, but he must be underneath. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm lost. What happened to you? Where'd you go? So I started looking around. I didn't see anyone. I'm like, okay, I know for a fact that crypto went this way. I'm like, but where'd he go? He's probably in there. So, of course, I got my hemlock out. I'm ready for some distance fighting. Then I hear the crypto drone fly away, and I aim at it. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's flying past me. It's not going to register. So I'm like, he's got to be in this little building over here, in this little cart. So I look around, and I'm like, what? It's like, where is he? He's not behind it. I have no idea where this dude went. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's behind the bridge over here. I just do a little looking. This guy's got a, like, masterful hiding spot. I don't know if I'm just, like, missing something completely obvious here, but I've reviewed this footage a couple times. No idea how he comes out of this little guy right there. No idea. So anyway, he gets lit up by Trigger. I start shooting Spitfire, and again, good thing I had the Spitfire, otherwise that would not have happened. Anyway, next clip. Here we are. We rotated. We're rotating over towards sorting. We hear some gunfire. So of course, you know, we're gonna act on that. We're gonna be that third party people. That's what we like to do. Throw a jump pad so it's easier for my squad to move in. Of course, that's pretty standard Octane behavior. I hear the gunfire, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then someone runs right past me, and I'm like, oh yeah, get in behind them. Pop a couple shots, they don't even notice, and I'm like, okay. So I go ahead and light her up. She gets downed. And I go into one of my favorite spots here. I love being up here, especially when there's smoke all around. So I see that there's down people over there. So I go ahead and ruin their day. Yeah, just go ahead and light those guys up. That was 2 free kills for fun. I become the kill leader from that. And we just sort of start looting up here. And usually, again, I would cut here. But as you can see, I was running low on heavy. So I went ahead and looted. And I can hear something on my right side right now. I'm like, I think there's people coming. So I communicate that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm certain there's people coming. Because I can hear it like pretty big this time. So I get up in my spot again. And I'm like, all right, we need a ping. And then, of course, they ping. And he's right there. So we go ahead and put rounds on him. He gets downed. And we're like, all right, cool. And then more gunfire. So I'm like, okay, I got your back, man. I'm going to start shooting. So again, I just kind of sprayed and prayed there with the Spitfire. Got it down there. I go ahead and avoid the trap. How this Wraith doesn't see me right here, no idea. She did not see me. She runs right past me. I light her up. She cuts back. And I'm like, no, you're already damaged. You're going to lose this. And that was pretty much it for that. So let's go ahead and go to the next clip. All right, here we are. We rotated just outside of Sorting Factory here. We hear that care package go down, so we go ahead and pursue the care package. And right here, I'm like, okay, they've got to be hiding. You know, I haven't heard gunfire in a while. Where are they? You know, they're probably hiding in a corner somewhere. And then I kind of look over slightly to my left after climbing on this blue box, and I see him. So I go ahead and ping him up. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and get a good push on here. I'm ready for range. I got my hemlock out. Just as long as no one comes in from our left, we should be good. Okay, there's people on our left. Okay, cool. We're getting sandwiched. This is not how I wanted this to go down. Not at all. So my teammates start fighting. This Octane jumps in. I do one bad shot, 2 decent ones, pull out the trusty old Spitty, take him down, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let me heal up. So I drop down, do a little hidey hide right here in my little hidey hole. Get my heal off, and I'm like, I'm ready. Let's reload and do this again. Here's something on my left. And say, hey, Caustic, how you doing? This is my house. Okay, I have bad shooting, but this is my house. Okay, there we go. Now you're down. Cool. So I'll go ahead and go back to my hidey hole here, do another, like, heal popping thing here. Here's something on my left again. I'm like, oh, gosh. Okay, yeah, go away. Bloodhound, no. Come here. And then right now, I'm like, okay, that other squad's pushing, guys. They're pushing. They've got to be pushing. But, yeah, they're not pushing. So, this match goes way longer than it should have. They're just camping over there. So, yeah, this is all that happens. We exchange fire, and then they run away. So, I'm going to go to where we fight them, because they let us loot for some reason. Anyway, and there are 3 of them, too. It wasn't like strategy. They're just bad. Anyway, let's go ahead and cut to that, because that's fun to watch, not looting. So, believe it or not, yes, they let us back in the ring. They took Geyser and flew away from us, which let us go into the ring. So we get just a great ping there from Bloodhound. And these guys are just showing their newness. They don't know there's a window up here. But right here, Dead Raven wants to push in, and we're no, dude, come back. But he pushed, and Trigger's like, oh, push? So Trigger's like, I'll push. And I'm like, oh, dude, no, get out of there. So I'm kind of watching the chaos. I come over here to the door to see if that Wraith comes out, but she doesn't. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, well, if you're pushing, I'll push. So I go ahead and knock Wraith here. And I go back up. I'm like, guys, I got to heal. So I go ahead and do me some healing here. Their lifeline goes in and starts getting the res off. And I'm like, we're just going to knock her when she comes down. Gets back up. So Trigger goes ahead and does it. I go ahead and fire some rounds in there. I'm like, dang it. But I didn't know this, but Raven actually came in through the back and just pushed both, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I go ahead and push in. I'm like, I got decent shields. I put some good rounds on Lifeline here. And then 210 gets knocked, and I'm like, oh, gosh. And then he's like, wait, use my shield. And I'm like, all right, let's tankity-tank our way in. Get one knock, come around the corner, get that 3rd knock. And, yeah, that was it. That was just good operation. Yeah, and then some celebratory gunfire in the background, yeah, as per usual. So, yeah, I just want to go ahead and thank Trigger 210 for that awesome tankity-tank moment there, and Dead Raven, that was a spot-on ping to let us know where the enemy was. If you guys enjoyed this, try to put one out every Sunday, not always guaranteed because, you know, I got dent head things to do. Anyway, here comes the outro. Enjoy. If you enjoyed the carnage, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and as always, I look forward to seeing you all out in the frontier. You waiting on a bonus clip because it's not going to happen. No way. I did it once, that was good enough. I'm not going to do it again. It's played out. The joke has already played itself out. So no. Come on, you crayon-eating, window-licking goober. I'm not going to do it. Fine here.